Sir, Dr. Pushpanjali Maharana ma'am, HOD of my department, Pradyumna sir, and all my dear seniors and loving friends. I am Adhishi Reddy is standing in front of you to present the topic on Tenia Sodium, which is guided by Pradyumna Sahu sir.
स्लाइड शो करेगी बच्चों.
As you can see, this is the tapeworm, pot tapeworm. These are the topics I'm going to cover in this seminar. What is Tenia Sodium? Its morphology, then some general characteristics of Tenia Sodium, life cycle, parasitic adaptation, and cystolysis. What is Tenia Sodium? First of all, it belongs to phylum Platyhelminthes, and as we know that it is digenetic and requires 2 months to complete its life cycle. It is an internal parasite which is internal parasite where it highly habituated to live in a gut of the host animal. Now let's see its systematic position. Phylum is Platyhelminthes, class is Cestoda, order is Taenidae, family is Taenida, genus is Taenia, species is Sodium. This is the tapeworm. Now let's see its habits and habitats. Tenia Sodium is found in all over the world where pig is being consumed or being domesticated, and it is a cosmopolitan. Its morphology. It is flattened, elongated, and consists of linear segments. It is yellowish or grayish in color, and the body is divided into small head, which is the scolex, unsegmented neck, and the segmented strobila. Scolex. It is a knob-like which represents the anterior end of the head, and it is an adhesive organ, although it consists brain, and it contains 22 to 32 chitinous spoke, and it is having 4 cup-like subtotal muscular organs, which is also known as the acetabula or the suckers. As you can see here, this is the rostellum. These are the hooks, and these are the suckers. In the front view, if we see, we can only see 3 suckers, whereas in top view we can see complete 4 suckers. Now neck. It is the unsegmented tubular region where the head is very short, narrow, and well defined. It is also known as the zone of growth or proliferation. As you can see, this is the neck region. Strobila. It consists of 800 to 1000 segments, which is also known as proglottids. Here, it has 3 kinds of proglottids. Those are mature proglottids, immature proglottids, and rapid proglottids. These are the immature proglottids, mature proglottids, and rapid proglottids. Now let's see some general characteristics of Tenia Sodium. Tapeworm lacks a cellular epidermis, and the body wall consists of cuticle, subcuticular musculature, and mesenchymal musculature. It shows parasitic nutrition, which means the one organism feeds on the other host and ultimately harms the host. Tapeworm performs anaerobic respiration, which means the respiration which occurs in the absence of the oxygen. Respiratory system and circulatory system is absent. Nervous system is poorly developed, and the fertilization takes place in oviduct. And here we can see 2 types of fertilization, that is cross-fertilization and self-fertilization. Let's see a small video on the tapeworm.
Once inside human intestines, a tapeworm can grow to be 60 feet long. They have other adaptations that are equally amazing, but not very pretty. They have no eyes or mouths. Their heads have transformed into ghastly hooks and suckers that latch into the intestinal wall. With a secure hold inside the gut, they can proceed with their main task, making more tapeworms. The worm's body is a conveyor belt, cranking out tiny breeding machines. Each one produces sperm and eggs, generating huge batches of offspring. In fact, the number of eggs generated by even one tapeworm exceeds the total number of human beings alive on Earth. Once inside human intestines,
Now let's see life cycle in Teniasolium. Teniasolium, as we know that it is digenetic and it requires two hosts to complete its life cycle. Here the definite host is the man and the intermediate host is the pig. Stage in the formation of the embryo and the infected larva. After fertilization, zygote is formed and the development of the zygote occurs in the uterus. The first division of zygote results in formation of two unequal cells, that is larger vitelline cells and smaller embryonic cells that give rise to the embryo. Now oncosphere formation, cleavage. Zygote undergoes cleavage when the capsule is in uterus, and here cleavage is holoblastic and unequal. The first unequal division results in larger megamere and a smaller embryonic cell. Next is morula. Megamere further divides and forms several similar megameres, whereas the embryonic cell divides further and by producing two cells, that is the larger megamere and the smaller micromere. And thus here three types of cells results in the formation of smaller micromere, medium mesomere and larger megamere. Then the yolk or the vitelline cells transfers its yolk to the megamere, where it completely gradually disappears. Now the infection of the secondary host, which is the pig. Here gravid proglottids at the posterior end of the strobila is detached and formed into a group of 4 to 5, where it passes out to the host speakers. On the ground, proglottids eventually disintegrates and suddenly free thousands of oncospheres. The secondary or the intermediate host acquires the infection by ingesting the oncospheres. Migration within the secondary host. In stomach of the secondary host, oncospheres loses its embryophore and its basement membrane by the action of acidic juices, and the free hexagon embryo then passes into the small intestine, where the two persisting hexagon membrane also loses actions by the alkaline juices. Here, now the hexagon gets activated by the presence of salt bores its way through the intestinal wall epithelium to reach the submucosal blood length. You can see this is the tapeworm in the gut of the secondary host. Now, cysticerus or the bladder worm stage. The numerous hexagons are set free in the stomach, where the embryonic membrane of the oncosphere is completely dissolved. These go through the intestinal wall with the help of the hooks and enter the bloodstream or the lymph vessels. Traveling through the heart, these enters to various parts of the body. Although the usual site where the hexagon gets incised is in the voluntary muscles of tongue, heart and liver. Now, infection of the final host. Further development of the bladder wall takes place only inside the definite host, which is the man. Infection in man occurs when inadequately cooked pork is being consumed. Then the cysticera becomes active in the intestine of the secondary host, and the scolex take a firm hold in the intestinal wall of the host, and the bladder is thrown off, and again the neck starts budding, and here the adult tapeworm is formed. As you can see, this is the complete structure of the life cycle, where the gravid proglottids is passed out through the fetus, and then it is branched in the uterus containing the ancestor eggs by the pig, and here the hexagon is ancestor, and then the measly cooked pork is being consumed by the human, and then it starts developing cysticera in the human intestine, and thus the human being is being infected by the tapeworm. Now some parasitic adaptation of Taenia solium. Scolex with suckers and spines search for attachment with the epithelium lining the host intestine so that the parasite may not be ejected from the intestine by the peristaltic contraction. And here the alimentary canal is immensely developed because the parasite absorbs the readily available digested food from the host by its body surfaces. Here the reproduction is immensely developed, and respiration is anaerobic. Here circulatory system, respiratory system and sensory organs are absent, and it is known as hermaphrodites, where it contains both sexes. Now what is cystodiasis? Cystodiasis is a disease in man which is caused by the infection due to the tapeworm. The scientific study of the occurrence or the transmission and control of disease is known as epidemiology. Now infection. How does this infection occurs in man? When the human being consume the infected pork by eating inadequately cooked pork containing the cysticera or the tapeworm, the human being is being infected by this. Pathogenesis. Man will fall as a victim to an adult tapeworm as well as cysticera, which affects the former, which are referred to as Taeniasis and Cysticercosis. Now what is Taeniasis? It is indicated to a variety of diseases like abdominal pain, nausea, anemia, increased appetite, indigestion, and all nervous disorders causing the epilepsy. Cysticercosis, it is far more dangerous than the Taeniasis because due to the removal of cysticera from these delicate tissues is extremely difficult. Whereas doctors also rely on this because this enters into the delicate organs like heart, liver, and brain. Now therapy for this. Infection of tapeworm can be tackled by the antihelminth drugs, and the drugs for the human is praziquantel, which is pylcicide, and drug for the neurocysticercosis is albendazole or Zental, and removal of cysticera, especially from the delicate organs like eyes, liver, and brain. Now prophylaxis. Consumption of undercooked measly pork should be avoided, and the fecal material which are passed by the host should be completely destroyed. And diagnostic tests. Here, Taeniasis can be diagnosed by the recovering of eggs or the gravid proglottids from the feces of the infected human host. And here, however, the neurocysticercosis is very difficult to cure. Oftentimes, doctors also rely on the presence of the brain tumor. Now let's see the last video.
Tinea solium is a pork tapeworm that infects humans. Humans become infected after eating contaminated pork or through fecal-oral exposure. Larvae from the tapeworm eggs migrate to muscle and other tissues, including the brain, which can lead to neurocysticercosis, a major cause of seizures in developing countries. Can the transmission of tinea be stopped on a population-wide level? Investigators implemented a 3-phase eradication program to eliminate Tinea solium from the villages of Tumbes province in Peru. Various screening and treatment strategies of both pigs and humans were conducted in the first 2 phases of the program to determine the most effective and practical interventions to implement on a wider scale. In phase 3, over a 1-year period, mass treatment was given to over 81,000 people in 107 villages, and more than 55,000 pigs received treatment and vaccination. Humans received a series of 3 doses of niclosamide, with 85% of the entire population receiving at least 1 dose during the intervention period. Pigs received oxfendazole every 2 months, along with tinea vaccinations. At baseline, the prevalence of pigs with tinea seropositivity ranged from 25 to 50%. After 12 months of intervention, 3,530 pigs were randomly screened, and 29% were seropositive for antibodies. Necropsies were conducted on 342 seropositive pigs, and less than 1% were found to have live, non-degenerated cysts, as compared with an estimated prevalence of at least 20% before the intervention. Thus, Tinea solium transmission can be stopped on a population-wide level with mass treatments of both pigs and humans, along with pig vaccination.
This is the bibliography where I have collected some videos through YouTube, some pictures from Wikipedia, and some important points from R.L. Gopal, and in classroom it was discussed by Pradyumna. Thank you.
This is